Hello, great people. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has again bragged about the success of his administration. While addressing his supporters, the president stated that Nigeria is no longer borrowing locally and that he has met his revenue target for the year as early as August. In a moment, I'll leave you to watch the video of Mr. President. Then when we come back, we'll be reviewing the statement of the president. What is the level of truth and untruth in the assertion of the president? And what would the president have done that has been left undone? We'll be looking at all this and more on this episode of Politics with your show plug, Dr. Omosoladeji. Let us go and watch the video of Mr. President. Then we come back for a great discussion. Let's watch it.
I know many of you had to suffer the initial abuse and the fear. Where are we going? We know the direction that we should go. We are going up. No, those who may not know will not know. Today I'm standing before you, I can brag that Nigeria is not borrowing, it's dying from local bank. The revenue, we have met our target of revenue for the whole year. We met it in August. I've reviewed this morning. Non-oil. If non-oil revenue is going well, then we have no fear of whatever Trump is doing.
There you have it. If you miss the body language of the president, there you have it on your screen. Take note of his body language, his general body language as regards the success of his administration. Is he right or wrong? Let us go into the issues and we will pick the issues that the president stated one after the other. He said that many of his supporters suffer initial abuse. Well, Mr. President, don't be delusional, sir. Many of your supporters are still supporting abuse. In fact, the abuse is more than before. Maybe it is not getting to you. Maybe some people are shielding you from getting the right information. But to think that your supporters are no longer being abused. In fact, they are receiving abuse more than before. In fact, you have made the job more difficult for your supporters. In 2023, a lot of people believe in your competence. They believe that you have the magic wand based on the fact that people were glorifying you, that you are the father of the modern Lagos. A kind of assertion that is questionable. But then at that point in time, people are thinking that Tinubu can do a lot of magic. But with the current state of the country right now, whereby the impact of your policies is negatively being felt on the people, so don't think you have made the job easy for your supporters. No, many of your supporters suffered initial abuse, but it is not initial. The abuse is still there like never before, and it is increasing day by day. Another thing is the president said that we know the direction. That's according to the president, that he knows the direction. It means that at the beginning of the administration, he knows what he's doing, he knows what he wants to achieve. So according to the president, he knows the direction. But the question is, does he truly know the direction, and what is that direction? So far, the direction of the president, when he said we know the direction, he largely has been to tax. The government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, like other government of Nigeria, have been a government of tax and borrow. It is just that the government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu have been more wicked and more callous than other government. Other government have been doing it bit by bit. They have been acting very cautiously, but the government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu have been acting without disregard for the feeling of Nigerians. So when you say, Mr. President, sir, that we know the direction, the question is, what is the direction? Is it to tax the hell out of the Nigerian people? That is not the direction. The real direction is to restructure the country. When your party, the APC, was coming into power in 2015, and you guys were touting restructuring, I believe you guys know what you were doing at that point in time. You guys know that was the solution for the problem of Nigeria. And on a later date, I'll be giving you in-depth analysis as regards the restructuring. So if you leave the country, you do not restructure it so that each state can be empowered, so that they can harness their resources and earn from it. And we practice true federalism, whereby the state will now be paying royalties and taxes to the federal government, and we would have good people in leadership. People can kind of explore their resources and make meaning out of it. Not until we have that kind of situation can we say that you know the direction. If it is to tax, how many people can you tax, and for how long will you continue to tax the hell out of Nigerians? So, Mr. President, sir, with profound respect, you don't know the direction yet. And maybe if you are opportune to ever watch this video, I've given you the direction. The direction is not to tax Nigerians. The direction is to do what? To restructure the country so that there will be true federalism. Another thing is, the president said, he was bragging that Nigeria is no longer borrowing locally. Well, if the president says Nigeria is no longer borrowing locally, assuming but not conceding, but then how about the external borrowing? Recently, the Nigerian Senate approved billions of dollars for the Nigerian government, and the argument of the government is that, well, this borrowing is just the projection of the government for a little period of time, like some years, that it is not for a year. It is approved that from so time to so time, Nigeria can borrow so amount. But then, if you look at that humongous amount, why do you have to say you want to borrow such money internationally in the first place? So can we say that you are no longer borrowing locally because humongous amount have been approved for you to borrow by the Nigerian Senate, and you have to borrow this money overseas? So could it be that you have exhausted your avenue to borrow locally? Could it be that you have borrowed so much that there's even nothing to borrow? Could it be that successive government have borrowed so much from the Nigerian banks? It is only bankers, it is only bank managers, bank executives, CEOs of banks that can have an answer to this. So I believe that the president, should not brag about not borrowing locally. In fact, when we can believe that you are not borrowing is when you stop borrowing even internationally, and Nigeria now becomes a lender to other smaller countries like Togo, Ghana, Libya, and all that. That is when I will believe that Nigeria has arrived at its destination. Another thing is, the president said he has met his revenue target in August. The big question is, you met your revenue target. Kudos to you, Mr. President. But then, at what expense? You met your revenue target when people are hungry, when Nigerians could barely feed, when, according to Nasir El-Rufai, 30 million Nigerians are now in poverty. And if you look at it, it is likely true, because the way the Bola Ahmed Tinubu has run the country in terms of policies, where businesses are folding up, you will see that, in fact, the number may be more than even 30 million. Because if you look at the people that are underemployed, the people that are unemployed, the people that inflation have wrecked, if you sum it all, I'm sure that, to agree with Nasir El-Rufai, it won't be less than that 30 million. So you are bragging to what end that you met your revenue target? It's like a family man bragging that he has a lot of money in his bank account while his children are suffering, while his children are yet to pay their school fees, while people don't have food to eat, his family don't have food to eat. So what is the bragging about? When lecturers are being underpaid, when doctors are being underpaid, when nurses are being underpaid. So you are able to meet your revenue target because you have taxed the people. Not that Nigeria is into any special production than before. You are able to meet your revenue target because you decide to tax the hell out of the people. And also, you are able to meet your revenue target because you have not been a responsible government to do the right thing for the people, to pay professors how they are supposed to be paid, to pay doctors in Nigeria, both at the medical and in academics, to pay them the right wages, to pay people that are supposed to be rewarded. Rather than for you to do that, you are saying that you want to increase the salary of politicians. So if you look at it well, you have enough money because you are not giving the money to who are supposed to receive the money. So if you are the type that you are obsessed with family money, you keep it all to yourself, you will have the money in your account. That is right. But then people are suffering, and the people that are suffering are the people that should be benefiting from this money. So I think that the president should look at his statement very well and be humble in progress, Mr. President. Even if you are progressing, may I advise you that you please stop bragging. There's a lot of things to do. Even if you have done little, can you stop bragging? Can you focus on the job? Can you rescue Nigeria? Can you bring Nigeria from where it is to where it ought to be? So, Mr. President, with profound respect to you, sir, stop bragging. Do the work. Nigeria is not where it ought to be at the moment. And if you make any progress, be humble in progress. When you were to launch the Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway, you were bragging. You know, you use the same word bragging that, oh, now you can brag. A job that is even yet to be completed, a job that you just awarded. You have not even fixed any part of the road as at then. You are already bragging. So what kind of bragging is that? So I think that Mr. President should learn to be humble, learn to progress in humility, not just bragging. And at the end of the day, let your effort, let it trickle down to Nigerian people before you begin to brag. And I just hope that the ace of the president will not continue to cloud his eyes with deceit, because the way the president is bragging as if it's the best thing that could ever happen to Nigeria. But if the president come down to the masses, if he can hear from the masses, he will know that, well, that is really not the case. So can the president, with all sense of modesty, can he stop bragging, and can his aides please tell him the truth? They are not telling him the truth, apparently because they know that apparently the president does not like the truth and they want to keep their job, or the president is somebody that doesn't listen to opposing views. That would be one of the two. So I think that the president should be more humble. And the president, may I advise that he should stay away from mentioning the US president, Donald Trump. If you are mentioning Donald Trump in your statement, be very careful, Mr. President, because Donald Trump doesn't care who sucks his God. He will come for you, and when he's coming for you, he's going to come for you very hard, not minding who you are or having any kind of regard for you or your office. So I would advise President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to be very careful. If you are talking, avoid the US President, Donald Trump, because before you know it, Trump may reason your case, and if he reasons your case, then your image might be totally battered, because if you decide to release some files, some of the files that you have been hiding in US, some of the files that you have been fighting should not be released. If Trump decides to release them, it may cause you greater embarrassment. And Trump declared the president of, I think, Venezuela wanted. So I hope that you'll be very careful when it comes to mentioning the US president, Donald Trump. And for those people that usually clap for the president whenever he's making a statement, whether it's right or wrong, whether he's saying the truth or he's lying, whether what he's saying is making sense or not, well, I think that those people should be very careful. Those people are the Clappers Association of Nigeria. They are the type that they must clap whatever the president says, whether it makes sense or not. Their duty is to just to clap like somebody that cannot even think. That was why when President Bola Ahmed Tinubu said, recruit, what will we give them? Agbado, ewa, this, that, this, and what he was saying wasn't really making sense. Everybody was just clapping. So we have the Clappers Association, and always take note of such people. It's been an interesting time with you on this episode of Politics with your short plug, Dr. Omoshola. Subscribe, turn on your notification button, catch up with my past videos. See you in my next video. I love you all sincerely.